All right, guys. So appreciate you coming in. Like I said yesterday, we went over some kind of tactical things about where we want to go, operationally with the company. But today we're going to talk about something in a little bit different capacity. This is something that we've been working on for most of the year. Actually, I think it's right at a year we really started diving deep into the vision of NC Trailers. At a high level, and then trying to bring it back down to how that is going to actually impact what we do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this. It's our Thrive Together initiative. It's NC Trailers' vision for a value-driven company. All right, Wes, can you see?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we got this broken down into who, what, when, where. All right. So what is NC Trailers? Well, to break it down as basic as we can, NC Trailers provides retail trailers, service, parts to residential customers and commercial customers. All right, makes sense. Pretty basic, right? Why are we here? All right. There's other places people can go to buy trailers, right? There's other places people can go to get them worked on. So why do we exist as a company if there are other places customers can go? And our purpose is to thrive together. All right. There's a lot that goes into what that means, and we're going to talk about that today. So as far as what Thrive Together means to us here at NC Trailers, it's for our teams. We want to support impactful moments in each other's lives. When you draw out why enough times as to why we're here, the conclusion that you come to is that Cole's here because, among other things, he wants to be able to go out on the weekends and catch catfish. All right, and Sean's here partly because he probably wants to go home, buy an AR-15 and go shoot it somewhere. All right, and Cheryl was here for a while in support of making sure that her daughter graduated college. All right, and the list goes on and on. We can name this for everyone in the room as to what their why is, right? It may be that we want to save up for our kids when they turn 16 so we can help them buy a car. It may be that we want to buy that first house. But whatever it is, if we ask ourselves why we're here enough, it comes down to that each of us are here to help ourselves and the person next to us have those impactful moments in our lives. Okay? So, customers, we want to be the trailer solution. And we used the intentionally there. Okay? We want to be the trailer solution. For our partners, we want to be an asset. Partners are everything from our consultants to our vendors. You can think of anything from the bank to drivers delivering trailers to manufacturers that build the trailers for us, and all the people that we partner with to make us a success here. And we want to make a positive impact in the community, okay? From the small things to the big things, from the scholarships to the canned food drives to buying people Thanksgiving lunch to the the donations that we make throughout the year, Operation Elf, to buy kids their Christmas wish list, all those things. We want to make a positive impact in the community. But also don't look past when you're wearing that NC Trailer shirt and you go up to T-Ville Diner, all right? We can also make a positive impact in our daily interactions, okay? So, core values, all right? This is how we're going to get there. All right, NC Trailers is a value-driven organization. It's every decision, every day, filtered through our core values. All right, I'm not going to go through the screen, so don't panic, okay? But this is the framework, and I wanted to just put this up here, okay? This is the framework for which we developed a lot of this that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I broke it down into something that's a little easier to understand, in my opinion. So, core values. Live the core values. That means we hire, train, make decisions, hold people accountable, and form habits from our core values. So our core values are thrive together to support impactful moments. Own it 100%. So that means we follow the process every time. Always show gratitude. Show daily appreciation. Be the solution by saying yes. Take the initiative and find ways to help and grow individually and as a company. So I have a couple of quotes that I wanted to share with you guys about core values that I was thinking about. So when your values are clear, making decisions become easier. That's a quote by Roy Disney, who was actually the co-founder of the Walt Disney Company with his brother Walt Disney. But he was the well-known business mind behind the whole Walt Disney Company. All right, another quote: open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. That's a quote by the Dalai Lama. And values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them all over the place. I kind of butchered that quote, but values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them, all over everything that you do. That's the actual quote. And that's by Elvis Presley. The king of rock and roll. Okay, now so these are the values, all on one screen here, and we even break it down. So as we get into what core values, the function of core values are, what do you make decisions based on, right? And so you're at times going to have potential conflicts between how you make decisions. Okay, do you follow the process or do you say yes to the customer? Okay. Well, we want to think about everything in terms of but in terms of decision-making priority, we've actually ordered this out as to what our highest decision-making priority is to our lowest. Okay, so I'm going to break each one of these core values down a little bit deeper. Okay, thrive together. That's our overarching core value. All right, that's our purpose and our number one core value. So this applies to our teams, customers, partners, and communities. When we can get it right with our teams, it all starts with us in this room, okay? And then if we get that right, we can extend that out to our customers, partners, and communities, okay? We work together to support impactful moments. We make things better. We bring positive energy, strengthen our relationships, and identify and solve opportunities and issues. This last one right here is actually something that takes a lot of time. And think about it. If there's something that's not sitting well between two team members, it's our obligation and our expectation that we're going to go out and solve it. When there's a process that's not working, we expect everyone in here to work to help us find a way to solve that and make it better. Okay, we don't want to languish in our miscommunications or our missed opportunities with getting better. Okay, so we want to identify and solve opportunities and issues. So an example of this, Christian noticed there was a late delivery and we had a lot of trailers to unload and check in. Even though it's not his department's responsibility, he asked to help unload and check in the trailers to help out the parts and service team. He also offered to come in early the next time they needed help. Thank you, Christian. But this is a great example of thriving together. Okay, one department trying to help out another department, offering, and you get the goodwill that's generated from it. You also get the practical help that comes from it to help us get our objective accomplished, which is unloading the trailers. So a great example of thriving together. Making things better, bringing positive energy, strengthening relationships, seeing an opportunity, going out and trying to solve it. All right. Applies to a lot of the aspects of what we talk about and thrive together. Okay, Charles realized Cheryl was going to be out of the office and the team would be shorthanded. He offered to come in on his day off. Our teams are looking out for each other, and our teams looking out for each other makes the team stronger. It makes everyone's job easier. Okay, we had a lot of these points again right here with the simple, not that it was easy, but it was simple, right? Coming in on your day off is oftentimes not always the easiest thing to do, but it's easy and it has a huge impact. So thanks, Charles, for that. Own it 100%. The number one thing that we want to think about here when we think of own it 100% is follow the process. Sounds simple. However, it's actually it's a decision that we have to make every single day. And I'll pick on the phone score queens in here. So that's okay to call you that. Sam and Cheryl, who I'm going to pick on a little bit later as well. But we've talked about phone call scores, and at times we don't follow the process because it's in service to getting all the work done. You got customers outside waiting for you to help them, and we don't follow our phone process completely because we're rushing to get back out to them, right? That's a great example of how we want to filter that decision to follow the process. And I think that's what we talked about, right, was following the process. So another great example of that would be trailer check-ins. We have 5 loads that come in one day, let's say. What do? Do you panic and just throw trailers everywhere and then not know what's been checked in and what's not? Or do we actually follow our process? And then if we have issues, we can try to identify how we can get all these trailers checked in, but we still need to follow the process of checking in the trailers properly, because if we don't, on the back end, we're gonna have lights that don't work, we're gonna have customers that are unhappy, we're gonna have a bottleneck in the system. So that's another one that we have to make a decision about a lot, and what we want to, the outcome of that decision to be is to follow the process every time. And the enemy of following the process every time is the feeling or the pressure of getting all the work done. So if we recognize it, then we got a chance of trying to overcome that. So believe in the mission, live the values, keep our commitments, hold each other accountable and ourselves accountable, and follow up on everything. All right, so another example, we used to have recurring issues getting funded for finance trailer deals. We would get really busy and forget a period or a comma in a contract. And then we would say, but we were really busy, and then we could just continue on with the same behaviors. So, sometimes we wouldn't even know the reason that we hadn't been funded for a finance deal with the lender. So Sunny has done a great job of making sure that we complete the paperwork and contracts correctly every single time, even when we're busy. She follows the process every time. She also keeps her commitments to the team by diligently following up with the lenders to make sure that we are funded as quickly as possible. Okay? And so good job, Sunny. Thanks. I've gotten this feedback from a couple of different people, and that speaks to this value really well, because even when we're busy, we follow the process, and we hold ourselves accountable to following the process and doing a good job, and we follow up with the lenders to make sure that we get funded. We keep our commitments to the team and to the company as a whole by making sure that we get paid for the things that we need to be paid for. And then another example I have here is Wes has been doing a great job selling accessories during the hookup process. Even when we're busy, he's been following the process and seizing the opportunity and selling accessories. Okay, we could say that we're so busy that we don't have time to follow the process, but we're seeing a good example here of, if we follow the process, then we get the customers the parts and accessories that they need to maximize the value of their trailer purchase, and we don't miss that opportunity when we follow the process. Okay, always show gratitude. Give honest and sincere appreciation daily. Become genuinely interested in others. Smile when things aren't going your way. Say your business is important to us. Say thank you and good job, and greet every customer. So we talked about this one a lot in our morning meetings. An example of this would be Cheryl was very helpful with our paperwork. She was also nice and made us feel at home, and I would recommend them in a heartbeat. I use this review as an example because you don't get these reviews, okay? And you don't get people saying this, and there's numerous reviews like this. But you don't get this unless you've become genuinely interested in others. Okay, you need to be smiling. If you're having a bad day, they're not going to be compelled to leave you a glowing review, right? So greeting every customer as early as possible, saying thank you, your business is important to us, all of that plays into us getting these great reviews. Okay, so we need to be grateful for our customers. We need to be also grateful for our team members. So everyone at the Christmas party had a really good time. We had 100% participation from our team members, and that's really amazing. I heard lots of gratitude and thank yous throughout the night. Several people mentioned that everyone appreciated the food, the recognition, and the gifts, and just hanging out. I even heard people talking about it Monday when we returned to work. Great event. So again, just talking amongst ourselves about we had a good time, or that the food was great, or whatever. Showing little acts of gratitude, and that goes a long way. And actually, just the fact that 100% of us showed up and participated in the event actually speaks a lot to me about this value. So be the solution. We want to say yes to our teams and customers. That's the first thing we want to think about with this. Be the solution. Okay. We don't get anywhere by saying no. We don't give ourselves the opportunity to solve problems by saying no. So say yes. Figure out how to overcome the obstacles. And then we want to think about opportunities instead of problems. Get to instead of have to. And instead of or. And can instead of can't. And if we can reframe the way that we think about issues in this way, the issues become opportunities, and we we think about things instead of and instead of or, and can instead of can't. Henry Ford says that if you can or you can't, what was it? Those who say they can and those who say they can't are both right. Okay, so why not think of things in terms of can? All right, great examples of this. We had a meeting about our opportunity to increase Facebook Marketplace leads. Within 2 days, Taylor had over 20 customers messaging us about trailers that she had posted. Okay, be the solution. David said, I need more leads. He didn't say he needed more finance leads specifically this time, which was unique. But he said, I need more leads, and Taylor said yes. There were plenty of obstacles standing in her way. And actually, I don't have, I have a couple of miscues here, but we had the opportunity to say no, I don't have time. Right? But we didn't do any of that. And then another example here, Matt has stepped up for us. He's willing to help out in a pinch. He's working hard, saying yes, and making time to be the solution. He has gone above and beyond, and when we asked for help, he stopped to work with several of our customers and helped with a few projects around the office. Great example again of, we could say no, I'm too busy, no, I have deadlines, and think of it in terms of or. But rather than doing that, we thought about it in terms of and. I can do this, and I can do this over here, and multiply the impact that I can have today. And this is a great example of what we want to do here whenever we get asked to do something by either a customer or a team member. Take the initiatives. So we want to find ways to help, work hard when no one's looking. Active is better than static, now is better than later, fixed is better than broken, clean is better than dirty. All right, simple things that we can think about when we think about how we can take the initiative to make things better. I asked Kelly to help me coordinate one trailer delivery with a carrier. She has taken the initiative to handle every load since, from talking to carriers to reconfirming delivery appointments the day before they arrive and scheduling the unloading team. So thanks Kelly for doing that. This was a great example of taking the initiative. She wasn't even asked to do it. She just stepped up, found an opportunity to help, and did it. And I wasn't complaining. So Cole and I were discussing a less than desirable job that needed to be done. Dakota quickly jumped into the conversation and offered to come in early to help out. I appreciate his willingness to help, even though he knew it wasn't going to be pleasant. It shows that he was willing to help out and make us better. Okay? Another great example of taking the initiative. Cole or I, neither one of us asked Dakota to come in and do that, but he was walking by, and maybe it was bad timing on his part, but he just happened to say yes, I'll come. He didn't actually say yes, he said, you know what, I'll come in and help you guys with that. So I appreciate that, Dakota. That was a great example of taking the initiative. So grow, individually and as a company. So oftentimes, we do one and it'll lead to the other, okay? So how do you grow? You ask lots of questions. Learn from our wins and losses. Be open-minded. seek opportunities to improve, and practice to achieve mastery. So here I get to pick on Cheryl and Sam again. I was in the office and Cheryl and Sam were strategizing how to have more effective phone calls. They both have been receiving the highest phone scores lately, and they were working together, giving good advice to each other, and I thought, that's pretty awesome. A few days later, they were collaborating again, and this time their scripts in hand. It was a very high-level conversation about getting past customer objections. Then they bring other team members into the conversation, and soon everyone's talking about how to have better phone calls. They just made getting better contagious. And I thought, we will be unstoppable when all of our teams are having these kinds of conversations. All right, so that's a great example of growth. They were asking lots of questions. They were being open-minded to suggestions. They were obviously seeking opportunities to improve. And then a practice to achieve mastery would be, if we took that to, say a mock, phone call. We do this in sales a lot. You sit down and play out how a phone call should sound, right? Whenever this is said or when that's said. So that's an example of what we mean by practice to achieve mastery. So who? Core value alignment. So we want people that live the values. We want to hire, train, make decisions, hold people accountable, and ourselves accountable, and form habits. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we have a tool in EOS called the People Analyzer, and I'm not going to go through all the details of this, but this will be shared after the this presentation, and this is part of EOS, and it's incorporated into the quarterly conversations so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page within our teams as to how we're doing in our core values. And then there's another piece to this that we won't get into today, but gets it once it has the capacity to do it. If you guys have read your What the Heck is EOS, it touches on what that means. And this is going to be incorporated into our hiring process, and then throughout our conversations as a team member here. So where? Our current mission expiration date, 12/31/2031, 10 years, 10-year mission. We want to sell 10,000 trailers per year. We want to operate 6 dealership locations. We want to be the trailer parts and service leader in every dealership market. Every team member is actively pursuing their growth plan. And we want to be the #1 rated dealership in the country. It's 5 things by 2031. All right, so this is our NC Trailers Advantage system, and I'm going to just go through this really quickly. We want to hire great people. We want the great people living by our core values and forming great teams. We want those great teams following our NC Trailers Advantage process, which we'll talk more about this at a later time. That creates the fuel in the form of capital to reinvest and deploy resources. And then we can grow through market share, market reach, new locations, acquisitions. We'll have team member growth and an improvement in our customer experience. And then that allows us to accomplish our mission. We keep doing this better and better and better. And it allows us to achieve our purpose, the why that we're here. It allows us to support more impactful moments in each other's lives, be the trailer solution, be an asset, and positively impact those around us. All right, this is our timeline. Payload production comes online in 2022. Our dealership expansion project is completed. Phase 2 completion, Q4 of 2022, that's the end of next year. That's going to include the upfits on the house and moving our footprint up to the road at the neighbor's location. Concord Sales Center opening, Q1 2023. Mooresville Sales Center opening, Q1 2025. Winston-Salem Sales Center opening, 2027. Durham Sales Center opening, 2029. Charlotte Sales Center opening, 2031. We have realtors looking in both of these markets right now. Concord and Mooresville. I have a dealer from Mooresville coming up today. So while these are our greenfield opportunities, okay, this is, if we don't acquire dealerships in these markets, these are the markets that we're going to build dealerships in. And all the while, we're going to be evaluating acquisition opportunities. Acquisition opportunities means partnering or buying another dealer. We're putting together an acquisition model now. We've had a pretty extensive database that we're putting together for our acquisition model, and that'll be something that has a higher focus probably in Q1 for us to go out and start initiating even more conversations to evaluate those opportunities. Right. As we open up these sales centers, we call them sales centers because, as we talked about yesterday, they're not going to open up with an immediate service center, more than likely. And so we'll have a sales team, and then we'll grow that location to a parts and service center as well. And so we'll have sales and parts and service operating at these locations, and then we'll have all of our corporate teams centrally located. All right, supply chain, marketing, business development, customer financing, IT, accounting, finance, finance and executive. Customer financing being, getting folks approved for financing their trailers. This financing being bookkeeping and accounting and our CFO work. So all this will be centrally located so that we can have just sales at first, and then sales and parts and service at these dealership branch locations, if you want to think about them that way. All right, so it begins today. Yesterday we talked about something that was going to happen over the next couple of months. Today, what we're talking about it starts as soon as we walk out the door. Okay, so our strategy is centered around our purpose and our mission. All right, so when we talk about what our plan is for the day, what our plan is for the month, what our plan is for the quarter, year, 3-year, 10-year, right? It's all going to be centered around our purpose and our mission. Core values are going to drive our daily decisions. Okay, so we're a core value-driven organization. So when you're talking to your customers, we want to think about what is our core value here. I need to say yes. I need to think about what I can do. I need to move past all the things that I can't do, focus on what I can do. That's one example of how we can apply this. Hold ourselves and each other's accountable to our values. So, if Cole's acting out of hand, Cheryl's got to jerk him back in line. Right? But in all seriousness, though, we want to hold each other and ourselves accountable. We want to complete our people analyzer and see how we're doing. And at the end of this quarter, everybody's going to have their quarterly conversations, and that will be a tool that's incorporated into that quarterly conversation. Quarterly conversations are when we sit down with our managers and we say what's working well and what's not. Okay, and the delta between what you think your people analyzer results are and what they think the people analyzer results are is a great conversation piece, so that we can grow from those conversations. And the conversation will continue. This isn't the last time you're going to hear this. You get the pleasure of getting to hear these things over and over and over again. I've talked to numerous CEOs at companies about this. I read it in books. Sometimes the people that lead organizations refer to themselves more as the chief repeating officer than the chief executive officer. All right, you don't ever worry about people hearing things too much. You always worry about them not hearing them enough. Okay, so we want to use the things that are in here, the things that we learned over the next coming months from this in our daily conversations, in our learning experiences, in how we coach. These are the things that we want to be talking about. All right, so that was my last slide. So when we walk out, like I said, we want to begin, and I wanted to end with one last quote Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. It's a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. All right, well, that's what I have. I appreciate you guys staying in and sticking around and listening to that. I'm very excited for what we're going to be able to accomplish this coming year, and you'll be hearing more of this. It's going to be an ongoing conversation we're going to have. Again, have to give thanks to Twanny and Sean for setting up the room, and you guys are free to go.